my biggest mistakes have been because I have chosen to choose people by potential.
Oof. Okay.
Those have been my biggest mistakes because I see potential in them. But I'm like, potential is not enough.
Crazy part though is that sometimes we just run these red lights and we miss and we don't pay attention to the red flags.
You paint them white. You get your white out and you start painting the red flags. You want to be a painter.
I want to see us win as a team.
Right.
I'm not competing because there's no competition.
It's Mauricio Mejia live on YouTube.
All right, we are back. It's Mauricio Mejia live inside of Studio B in the heart of Silicon Valley, downtown San Jose, and super excited today. We get to talk about things that, normally we like to be a little controversial here on the show, but I got a special guest, actually someone that I've known for quite some time, have been following her journey, and it's interesting to see where she started, the journey, and then where she's at. So I want to welcome our special guest today, Mia Perez. How are you?
Thank you, Mauricio. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
I wanted to do the drums. I wanted to do the whole thing, pero sabes qué? I already know we're gonna.
Tyler's got us for editing afterwards.
Hey, we're about to we're gonna set some fireworks today, but
We are.
I like the conversation we had prior to jumping on camera today, and I think that we know what we're gonna end up talking about. But before we get into all of that, I know who you are, but our audience out there, I want them to get to know a little bit of who Mia is and her journey, right? It's really good to have one Latina entrepreneur, someone that's been just has had a lot of different experiences in different parts of life, entertainment,
Right.
and one of my favorite subjects that we're going to talk about today is women empowerment. I want to learn more about that. I really am. I'm very curious, right? Because during these times, there's a lot of people that talk about that. But before we dive into that, give us a little background. Born and raised, and family, siblings, and all that good stuff, so people can get to know a little bit more about who you are.
Right. Okay. So first of all, thank you for inviting me here. And I think we should probably, once we get to that part of women's empowerment, we'll touch on how we got to this interview here, because that's
Are
interesting
you sure,
too.
huh?
We should.
All right, we're picking the scabs on both ends today.
This will be a great episode.
Actually, you know what? I'll be honest with you. I was really looking forward to this today. One, because I just, the universe is very interesting, how it works and how it does full circles, right? There's a lot of people that we know, we know and known, right? Some people are they come through our lives and for a reason, for a season, all of that good stuff, and I'm really looking forward to touching base on that. But anyways, this is not about me. This is about you right now. Let's.
But it gives an intro.
It
right.
does. It does.
So stay tuned.
Yeah, there you go. So go for it.
So like you said, Mexican, right? So I came to the United States when I was 3 years old.
Okay.
And so I've been here 25 years.
So I would have never guessed. I was, so what part of Mexico?
Durango.
Okay.
Durango. So I've been here all my life. And that being said, my parents, when they arrived here, it was just me. And then my brothers, I have twin brothers that are younger. They're 8 years younger than I am. Grew up here in the Bay Area my entire life. Once I hit about 20-something years old, my parents, with the dot-com boom and everything that happened, my father used to work 3 jobs, and he lost one of his jobs. And that made it a little bit difficult.
What part of the Bay Area? Because we got we got 3 major cities
the
here.
408.
Oh, there
San
you go.
Jose, represent.
Represent. I just wanted to make sure we're on the same page. Okay,
Right.
All right.
So having said that, they just decided to up and move to Texas. So when I say my whole family, I'm talking my parents and then 2 or 3 uncles with their families. I'm talking 20-something people up and left.
Wow.
When I turned about 21.
And why Texas out of all places? Huh?
Well, to El Paso.
Okay.
El Paso is more, Latino. But everybody left. And then I stayed here. And that's when I guess my independence truly came to be.
Wow.
And
Okay.
from then I went on to sales, a lot of different dabbling in, I think what I'm really good at is connecting with people.
Got it. Before we jump into that, though, I'm going to have to slow you down here because I want to education, right? So you grew up here in San Jose. High school. Did you go to right after high school? What happened there? I mean,
so I went to a private school.
Okay.
I went to a private school in my church.
Got it.
Which was not the best thing because being so sheltered. I know my parents meant the best for me, but being
private all girls school or private school co-ed?
Both co-ed,
Okay.
But still very sheltered. So then you all of a sudden go into the world, and I'm just like, I can't wait to experience the world. I wasn't ready.
Yeah, you want to quieres reventar, like
Yes, and I wasn't ready to understand that not everybody's a good person.
What school was this, if you don't mind sharing?
It was. Do I have to say the name?
No, not if you don't want to. I mean,
well, it's a little church school. Nobody knew about that school, but still, having said that, I graduated and I did go to Evergreen College. I went back for San Jose City. I thought I was going to go into nursing because I was working at Kaiser, but once I worked in the chemo room for a few years.
That gave me chills.
2 years.
Just thinking about something like
for
that.
2 years while I was in the waiting list for the nursing program. Once they called me, I realized I'm not doing nursing. And then I went into sales.
All right. Like from one extreme to another, huh?
Right. But my people skills, though, I was really great at connecting with people.
What kind of sales did you jump right into?
Gosh, I did everything. I did car sales.
What?
I think I sold phones at some point.
All right.
Just in front of people. Yeah.
And why sales? What do you think? Is that do you think that it was maybe it's the awakening of your entrepreneurial spirit? Is it because the independence? Is it because that was what was available?
Back then, it was the money.
Okay.
It was the money. And the independence that came with it, that you can make commission, you make more money if you're good at what you do.
Okay.
And also that I love talking to people. I like, again, connecting with people. And connecting with people brought me money. So why not?
That's called the entrepreneurial spirit, waking up.
So, I didn't know that back then. I just figured like, oh, this is great.
Yeah. So you're in control of your own destiny. You're not you could be set on a time frame, but you're in control of how much you make based on, your drive,
Correct.
right? Your work ethic depends on just, again, what is it that you want to do? So, so you get into sales,
Right.
Latina, young woman, San Jose, early 2000s, we're going to say? Okay. So early 2000s.
Yes.
So it's an interesting time, early 2000s.
They're the best times.
I enjoyed them. I made some fortunes, in the early 2000s. I being in the entertainment industry myself,
Right.
Nightclubs, bars, and concerts. 2004 was when I broke on my own and really just took on my career. During that time, after the .com bust, right? I can understand and relate. Though I was still young, I had just got out of the idea of going to college. On my fourth year, I've shared with my audience out here that on the fourth year going to San Jose State, I was a double major, radio, television, and film, and business marketing. And I decided to drop out. On my last year, I dropped out, and I decided that the entrepreneurial spirit that I had was so strong and calling that, and I was already making money at that age, that I was done. So I decided to go off into my career 100% and really pursued it to the point that I remember in 2004, July of 2004 is when I made my first million. I was that to me was my biggest deal during my independence, that being this young adult, that I knew that's where I wanted to be. And at the same time, I was involved in real estate. I was doing real estate sales and really more business development, because I had never, even though I was licensed to do the sales, my thing was just cutting the deal and then letting my team handle the rest. So entertainment and real estate were my drivers during that time. So, but okay, so early 2000s, your spirit is waking up and you're doing sales,
Right.
and what's happening, in that path.
In that path, being that I mentioned the way I grew up, there was so much family always around me that I started really feeling the emptiness of my family being gone. So, what do they tell you? Typical young Latina, the next step is, when are you getting married? Right?
Ouch. Okay.
So I think I felt that also, that I was like, I'm here all alone. I guess the next step is to get married. And
A little pressure, peer pressure there
a
probably.
little, right?
Yeah.
Right. And at the
Your
same
friends
time,
are probably getting married or, so forth. So,
and at the same time, this is where actually my story takes me to where I am today. But it was born from that place that I found myself feeling alone. And I thought, well, the next step is just to get married. And I ended up marrying someone from a place of me not knowing who I was and me not having self-love. And I just felt like, well, it's just the next thing to do.
and correct me if I say it inappropriately or wrong. Did you find that was possibly because it was out of necessity versus a want, right? A necessity because you felt lonely, right?
Necessity, yes.
Okay.
Lonely because, again, all my family's up and gone.
Right. Okay.
And then again, I thought, well,
I
that's
can
just,
understand that. I mean, I can relate, but in a different spectrum, right? But we'll stay here. I want to see where this is going.
Wow. So it went,
All right. So
went there.
Yeah.
I got married.
Okay. And how long did that last?
Wow. That's what I mean. That I didn't realize the reason. I did it for the right reasons. I was in love. I loved the person. That person, not necessarily. That person was in business as well. And little did I know it was more for the front, because as a businessman, I would say, businessmen are more likely to be trusted if they are married, if they have a family, because they look more responsible.
Interesting. Okay.
So
that's a perception right now. Perception. I think because I'll share one of my feelings on that too. But okay. So perception.
Well, I will tell you that it
Yeah.
worked, because most of the down the line, when things didn't work out for me, the people that always came back, they're like, we only did business with you we only did business with him because of you. So it does help. It
Okay.
does help for a man to have what looks like a trophy wife. And I'm not saying it out of like conceit, but like, I'm a
So
confident
not a
woman.
partnership, a trophy wife. All right. Okay.
Because I'm not conceited, but I'm confident. I know who I am. I know, like, I was young. I was beautiful. I was very smart, very articulate. I engaged well with people. And because I was able to earn people's trust, that
Right.
was benefit to him in the way he did business.
Well, so I'm gonna insert my opinions, right? So
Tell me.
you're still beautiful.
Thank
You're
you.
still smart, right? Because you said was, right? And I
Thank
think
you, that's true.
we're not talking. We're talking past tense, but I think that in the presence, you still carry those traits, and those have allowed for you to carry that to where you're at today. So I think that where you were, and again, I'm just giving you my thoughts and my opinions, right? I think that your confidence level still holds. I think that what happens is that when you're in a partnership, sometimes this one's gonna hurt me, right? Lower our standards.
Hey, let's tell the truth. No lies here.
I've been there. You sometimes you want to bring people to your level. I've had a recent experience where I thought, and I thought that this person was the one. And again, and we don't know what the one means and all that, but when you try to raise people to the next level because you see so much talent, so much potential, right? So much beauty, right? And sometimes in all of that, the emotions or the perception, right? The saying, love is blind, right? And sometimes in that process you lose yourself and your who you are and what you represent, right? I'll give you a little from the how do we phrase this, right? I mean, I'm just gonna keep it real with you, right? I know who Mauricio Mejia is. I know what I've done. I know where I've come from. I know what the journey what it's cost me and taken the amount of things that I've gone through to get to where I've gotten to today.
Right.
And that journey, right?
Right.
And sometimes, I understand that loneliness, or that I don't have family out here other than a few relatives, but my core family, my sister lives in Los Angeles, my mother lives in the state of Washington, my father travels between Central America and the U.S., but I don't have constant family, right? So I can feel that, and I have some great friends, or not even friends. I have a few people that are in my life that I can confide in, that I have a very good relationship with. And so I can understand when somebody comes in all of a sudden and just sweeps you off your feet, right? And then what happens is that you then forget about all your values and your the things that are important, and you then
lose sense of who you are.
Yeah. No, and then you just want to. You feel that this person validates and makes you feel a certain way, so you kind of then start to cater to that person, where you just forget about yourself, and then it's just crazy how, like, in a very short period of time, you can lose sense of yourself, right? So,
And it's out of companionship. It's not loneliness, it's companionship.
yeah,
Because you can be alone and you're fine, but like, as human beings, we were created to yearn for companionship.
Yeah.
And it's when you get to that point where it's just like, I want to do life with someone.
yeah,
But then you pick the wrong person.
Oof,
That's the
deep.
problem. And you went there before, right? I wanted to get there. Oh, listen, I'm going to have to give this to Tyler, because I thought about you the other day when you were talking about we want to take people higher. I just had a recent experience. I can't even talk about it right now because it would take too long to explain. But what I will say this, it reminded me about what you said. And the example is, the eagle, right? And when the eagle's flying and the crow gets on top of the eagle, right? Because it's trying to attack it, and it picks at its neck. It's trying to pick the feathers. That eagle doesn't start flapping its wings frantically. No. It doesn't fight it. It doesn't do anything, right? What it does is it just rises. Yeah. Doesn't spend the energy on the negativity of the crow. It just rises and it rises. And what happens is that it gets to such altitude that the air is too thin for the crow, and the crow falls off. Yeah. We have people in our lives that are those crows, right? And instead of fighting them, all you got to do is keep elevating, keep rising, because they fall off. Listen. I love it. And some people, unfortunately, they're crows and we think they're doves. Oh. Right? Because they look so innocent. Yeah. Right? And then you find out later, like, oh my God, you were a crow the whole time.
Yeah. Well, interestingly enough, through this experience, and the crazy part is that a lot of people along the way were like, Mauricio, what are you doing? Like, you're an eagle. An eagle. And this was where I was like, damn, women can be pretty, pretty brutal with other women, right? I'm like, oh, like, well, that's what I like, the cats, right? They're like, Mauricio, what are you doing? Eagles don't swim with ducks. Which I was like, wow. True. That sensitive, that soft side was like, fuck, I don't, that's not how I speak or communicate. I look at things as I want everyone to win on the team, right? And if I can build, and I love what you said, companion, and want to just share that emotion, right? That magic. At least it feels like magic, right? And I've been very successful at a young age. I share with people. I've done a lot of things at a young age that not a lot of people get to do in a lifetime, or even at my age today that some people barely start. And for me, I've hit some great pinnacles in my life. I've written 3 books. Not too many people can say they've written 3 books. Hey, they're short books, but they're books, right?
Congratulations.
I'm working on my 4th.
Yes.
Made my first million at 25. Was in the nightclub entertainment industry for 25 years. I got to experience a lot of different things that a lot of people probably in a lifetime will never experience, maybe many lifetimes if they believe in reincarnation. built companies, multiple companies. 2019, built my first $100 million company. If it wasn't for COVID, and I don't know why there's so many haters right now, billionaires, but I would have built $1 billion empire, and it's not because the billion, whatever the stigmas may come, is with that amount of resources you can make an impact on others and other things, right?
Yes.
The owners and the corporations of these people, of some of these where people work, right? Like, let's give an example: Walmart. They're a multi-billion-dollar company. And if it wasn't for their mindset, there would not be all these job opportunities.
Right.
Again, I'm not defending their other beliefs, and we're going to go on a tangent on that one. But to bring it back, those are the values that I carry as I move forward, and all the things that I want to do. And I want to share those with, whether you're my companion, my friend, or business partner. I want to share those values,
Right.
because as a team, I know that if we really want to build and grow, you need to have a team. If you try to do it solo, you're not going to get far. You'll get somewhere, but you're not going to be able to scale and grow and get to those levels. Interestingly enough, though, right, the eagle flies by itself, but it also flies with other eagles. Right. So,
and you know what? Let me just tell you something real quick. That I've learned through this past experience, and this will apply to you, because we talked about being people that have a big heart, right? And I added to one of my prayers as of last week, because of a situation that I had with taking somebody on, bringing somebody on a journey that I'm not going to say they weren't deserving of it yet. They weren't ready for it. But, the thing is that my prayer added now is, Lord, do not allow my empathy and my compassion override wisdom and discernment.
I think I'm going through a therapy session here with you right now. This is deep. I love it.
I'm a transformational consultant. Tommy, what do you want to transform right now?
There we go. Right. And we're going to get to that part of your life.
Right.
But I want to touch on that foundation of the foundation of this conversation is, you're right. Some people are just not ready.
Right.
And I caught myself in this situation where I'm going fast, and I use this as when I reflect, and I said, I grabbed this person. Listen to the words, right? I grabbed this person and said, let's go.
Right.
It sounds very generic, but if we want to go deep and you really break that down, is I grabbed this person and said, let's go, come with me. Not asking, hey, would you like to come, or are you ready for this? Because I'm about to go fast. Buckle up. Let's go. Because that's the speed that I'm going. That's the momentum that I have. That's the pathway that I have carved out for myself, right? Just because COVID happened didn't mean that my $1 billion dream it stopped, or that all my successes and all my businesses have stopped.
You pivoted.
I have to pivot.
Right.
Thank you. Amen to that. Thank you that I have the mindset to pivot and not get stuck.
Right.
Some people got stuck. And that was what my third book was, Assess, Address, Move On, was about. It's about getting unstuck.
Right.
Because we get stuck in situations. Crazy that I had to reread all 3 of my books to get myself unstuck.
It happens.
From a situation that had this person just been honest with me and just said, hey, I'm not over my past. I would have been respectful, and probably we would have a version of a relation or something, versus the deceit, the dishonesty. And other people knew. And it was just interesting how that universe is my past, and I look behind me now. Had I known, I would have walked away from this differently. I look back and I say, you know what? That was karma that just came back to me for the things that I may have done probably in my past. I didn't want to beat myself up much on it, but I was very thankful for the experience, and that I could then start working on myself, transform, right? Going to hit that transformation part.
Right.
And I've actually started counting days. That today is 273 days from the new year. I know that because I do my daily readings, and some of my readings are by days of the year. And I know that in that time, it may feel like a long time for some people, but in a very short period of time, I've been able to transform myself. I don't want to say back, but I've had transformed myself to better from where I was
Right.
in that gap that I lost. And really, I don't want to say lost, but I really learned a lot about myself and some of my weaknesses and some of the breaks that I had in breaking points in my life, right? So this transformational journey started day one. Literally, I ended the 31st of December. I'll never forget that day, the experience. But I remember when I walked away from that situation, I said, thank you, God, for opening up my eyes and showing me what you wanted to show me.
Right.
And starting day one.
Exposure.
Exposed. Starting day one, the journey started for the things that
The
were
new.
the new Mauricio. And I look back and I'm very grateful because where I'm at today is actually 100 times better than where I was at prior to that, and even thinking that if I had done what I was talking about doing, I probably would be fucking miserable today versus being excited and happy about lifting, right? Because, again, going back to, I'm a guy that likes to scale things. I like to move fast. I'm very intense. And I remember one time, even in a past relationship, I remember this person saying to me, Mauricio, you need to tone it down, And I'm like, no, you need to turn it up. Like,
here's the thing, though. You said something very key a little while ago, and I meant to interrupt you, but you're bringing it up again, so I'm going to tell you right now.
All right, here we go. A little discipline, a little regañar over here.
No.
I love it, right? Hey, Latina woman on the show, we're going to give it to you.
No, actually, it's to highlight something that you said. It's very key.
Yeah.
You said you basically, you even signaled, right?
Ooh,
you
signaled. I like that.
You reached back. And what you were doing was you were pulling somebody with you. How fast are you going to scale, or are you going to grow personally, relationally, or in business when you're having to pull somebody with you? And that's what happens when we are empathetic, compassionate, and we want to just bring everybody with us. Not everybody can come on your journey. Not everybody deserves to be on your journey. They need to earn a place in your life, right? And we try to be like, no, but I just want to be a nice person. No. At what expense?
I can so relate to that.
At the expense of my well-being, emotional well-being, of my identity, of my confidence? No. So now you've learned, right? Lesson learned, I've learned as well. I don't pull people with me. I'm going to see who's around me, who's already got the vision that I have, right? Do I have to motivate you all the time? Do I have to be inspiring you? No. Are you already working on something? Do you have your own vision? Okay, let's collaborate.
Oh, amen to that. And I think that I am that person, right? I mean, I want to collaborate. I want to collaborate with great people, with people that have a great potential. Great, you can just see it. You can see it, but again, without knowing, sometimes you just your blinders go on. And
I'm going to disagree with you on that.
All right.
No, the reason why.
Please, I welcome it. I love great debates.
The reason why is because my biggest mistakes have been because I have chosen to choose people by potential.
Oof. Okay.
Those have been my biggest mistakes because I see potential in them. But I'm like, potential's not enough, though.
Yeah. Just like they say, it was very hard for me. Not hard, but I was trying to comprehend the saying that says love is not enough. And I'm like, wow, that's not that I was saying that it was all, right? There's a lot of other things, like mindset, responsibilities, cleanliness, I don't know, process standards and all that. I mean, I've always held a high standard of myself, from starting with myself, how I present myself, to the point where, I mean, you walk into my place, you can eat off the floor. It smells like I always tell people, it smells like a Ritz-Carlton when you walk into my home. Everything is in orden. It's and everything feels like it's brand new every day. Because I set that standard for myself on a daily basis, because I have a saying, I like to do things at the highest level, and do things with the highest standard in mind, because that's just a reflection of who I am.
True.
Crazy part, though, is that sometimes we just run these red lights and we miss, and we don't pay attention to the red flags.
You paint them white. You get your white out and you start painting the red flags. You want to be a painter.
I want to be a fixer.
Right.
I want to put on my overalls and just start painting shit and fixing things around, like literally, like. And I saw all these red flags along the way, and I chose to run them because I thought, oh, I could fix that. Oh, in time things would change. And prior to all of that, I had already known you can't fix or change people, that one, that don't want it, and two, that you just can't. It's not your job to, right?
Right.
But again, I was in a vulnerable state. There was a lot of things happening in life. There's just like any time, right? And it's just about timing. I just got caught with that window open and boom, caí fuerte.
Right.
But what I've learned about myself now moving forward is that I like where I'm at in life. I like.
Do you like who you are?
I love
right
who
now?
I am.
Good.
I love who I am.
That's important.
Yeah. No, I love who I am. I love where I'm going. I love the decisions that I'm making. The clarity, the amount of clarity that I have, the amount of self-love.
Wow. Great.
When I started. Partly when I started my journey, I was back in 2023, November of 2023. I was overweight. I was 230 pounds. One of my old friends, came into my office one day and, he wanted to talk about some business. I gave him copies of my book. He read my books. And the next day, a couple of days after, he came in my office and he called me out. He said, Mauricio, he goes, the outside does not match who, the outside does not reflect who you are inside. Whoa. He became my nutritional coach. Got to give him a shout out, Mike Escobar. Shout out. And he changed the shift, the pivot of where and then that was the beginning of my journey where I started to really take care of my physical self. Along the way, while I'm taking care of my physical, I wasn't taking care of my mental. Right, so that's where I think there was a window of vulnerability. Along the way, there was a lot of things that were happening in business, right? So now, these things happen. So, I like where this is going. Like I told you, there's no script here. I feel like I'm having a therapy session.
We're gonna have to do a part 2. We're not gonna be done today.
No. So, but going back to you, so transformation, you help people, you help women. Right. Do you help others or do you specifically focus on women?
I try to focus on women. Funny story.
Exception right here.
Funny story. Well, we've had our conversations.
I'm one of your clients now.
But in all honesty, I've had 3 male clients in the past. I'm talking, the last time was about a year and a half ago. And unfortunately, they all fall in love.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So I can't do that because I'm like, I'm supposed to help you.
Yeah. You're not supposed to fall in love with me, buddy.
Right. But it is not just me. It's
you have
just,
to show
it's refreshing.
or something.
No. You know what? It's just that it's refreshing to them to finally encounter a woman that I pride myself in being a woman, a feminine woman. Yeah. And
amen
empowered.
To that. Yes.
And empowered. And that's why my transformation took me to where I am. Yeah. So backtracking real quick, when I did get married, that was very short-lived. And within, I'd say 2 months of being married, I knew that it was the wrong choice. But I couldn't do anything about it. At that moment, I felt like ashamed because literally when I was going to I was on my way to the court to get an annulment, right? And because within 6 months you can. And I remember I was like, we're getting divorced. He didn't know. He thought we were going to lunch. We're getting divorced. And we're outside the courthouse now and he's looking at me and he starts crying. He's like, please don't do this. I'm so sorry. Please don't do this. And I said, listen, I am not going to live the rest of my life like this. And then he used the card against me, the spiritual card. He knew the way I grew up and he knew I loved God and I feared God. And he said, you're going to be the first divorced person in your family.
Ouch.
How are people going to look at you? We just had a beautiful wedding in Mazatlan. Like, what are people going to say? What are your parents going to think? And then he said, aren't you a Christian?
Oof.
Aren't you supposed to forgive people? Why don't you be an example and you forgive me? Man, if that wasn't my first sign of manipulation, but
I don't even want to. What are you forgiving him for?
Infidelity at 2 months. Exactly. At 2 months in.
I don't even think I want to touch that. I don't even want to. Yeah, I think it's not even worth giving it the energy time.
Yeah.
But infidelity, I think that
So
if you're gonna get married, guys or girls, please make sure that your infidelity is not in the cards. Because why the hell would you want to go through that whole show, right? For not only yourself, but for everyone that you're showcasing this. I just know.
Right.
Anyway.
So that part.
Wow. I'm sorry. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So that part of it though was for me. I was like, okay, though I decided to forgive. I didn't want to go through the embarrassment. Like it literally rang through my head. Like,
well,
wow.
It's the shame now. You don't want to shame yourself,
exactly.
right? So you're like, it's almost que te la tragas.
The shame. Exactly. It was the shame of like, what are my parents going to say? What are they going to think? So I ended.
What does that say about your decision making?
Right. And again, no self-love. I had no self-respect. I didn't even have a clue of like who I truly was, right? Because all I knew was like, well, I need to get married and I need to have a family. And so it was a lot of like perception. What is the family going to say? What are they going to think? So I stayed in that marriage for many years.
How many?
Well, that happened, like I said, right when we got married. And then I had my daughter like within a year, like a year later, I had my daughter. And we separated when she was 4 years old. Okay. Now the separation.
So you're in about 4 years in this marriage,
yeah, but the separation did not come easy. Mm-hmm. That came, and that's too long to share of a story. Yeah. But what I will say is that when I finally got him to leave the house, is when I finally discovered that I was a victim of domestic violence. And I'm talking there's a wheel in the spectrum of abuse, every single one. But I was so trapped and I was so mentally checked out that I didn't know. And then here I was, Mauricio. So this is something that's
create some PTSD.
This is something
right
that's really going to catch you off guard because you know a little bit of my background. But let me share with you this: when he left, the whole time I kept saying, "We're done." He had said, "The day you leave me, you will never see one penny for you or your daughter. Wow. Well, our daughter." And he kept it. He kept that promise. Wow. So here I am. We had different companies. You know, we had several different companies. I walked away from thriving businesses to just save myself and my daughter.
Wow.
So here I am, the person that has all these, has all this experience. I signed people's checks. I hired people. I directed people. Here I am now outside of the welfare office.
Wow.
Trying to get food stamps for my daughter. Wow. And I didn't know that until I went in and I filled out the application and they're asking me, they're like, "Excuse me, like this doesn't make sense here. We looked at your address, like why are you here?" And that's when I was so truthful. That's kind of like
discrimination there.
Right, but I was so, because it didn't make sense to them, right?
Of course.
So but I was truthful and I remember I was just I was embarrassed. Let me tell you, I sat 20 minutes in my car and I cried because I was so ashamed. I couldn't believe that I was a woman who had all these businesses, signed people's checks, and now I have to walk in and ask for help.
Oof.
So once I was in there,
give me chills. I don't know that experience, but I know my situation was, I know after I lost a lot in 2008-9 when we had the big crash. Not a lot of people know I was homeless for 3 years.
Wow.
And not like where it's homeless is homeless. If you don't have your own home and you're homeless.
Right.
There's different levels of it. I'm not laughing about it because it's not something that I enjoy. What I did though keep was my dignity. And it's not something that I bragged about. I talk about it now because I want to share that. Hey, where I'm at today, I didn't get here just because overnight. I was part of my journey. I was this. Nobody knew I had holes in my shoes, but I kept them nice and clean. I stepped into a room, commanded presence. But the point being is that I even lost my thought on this one. I got choked up on this one. This is crazy because I can understand
the shame
The shame. Yeah.
that comes with that, right?
Yeah. When you just
Absolutely.
lose, when you lose everything.
And you don't even know how you got there. And I got to a point where I looked at myself in the mirror. I didn't recognize myself anymore. So when all
Crazy.
that happened, that's
Wow.
when I realized.
That's when you
like-
woke up.
Well, that's when I realized when this is going to get very raw with you right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But when they asked me, like, wait a minute, you live in this area and this and that. And I said, I just need my daughter to be seen by a doctor. I just need health care
Yeah.
for my daughter. And they said, so you live in this home. How did you get here? Because you have a car, right?
Yeah.
I said, yeah, I have a car outside. You have a phone. So who pays for your phone? How do you, your car? Like what?
Yeah.
You have money. And I looked at
It's almost
them.
like you don't want to talk. I mean, you don't want to divulge your personal,
Right.
what's happening. That's shameful.
This
Yeah.
was my waking point that when they asked me how, I literally said, well, he doesn't live in the home anymore. But if I have to pay my phone bill or if I want to buy groceries, he lives 5 minutes down the street from me. So I have to go and have sex with him.
Wow. That's crazy.
And that part, it still takes me back just because I think of that woman who I was back then and I didn't know. So that's when the lady picked up the phone and she called somebody else. Someone called me in. I went to another room. And that's when the lady said, you're a victim of domestic violence.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, wait, I don't have any bruises on me. Like they're like, no, everything you described, you're a victim of domestic violence. That's when my healing journey began. But I didn't know that after you leave your abuser, they have one more card left to play. And he used the system to abuse me.
Wow.
So I spent the next 5 years
crazy.
in court.
Yeah.
5 years in court every single week, sometimes 2-3 days a week.
Yeah.
Because he was just like so happy. He would just sue me for this and for this and for that. And if somebody sues you, you just can't be like, oh, it's not true. You have to show up. You have to go to court.
You have to. It's that system is it's a 3 to 5 year process. And if you know how to play it, or if you have good attorneys, if you can afford attorneys, whether it's criminal or domestic or civil, it's
Lengthy.
it's lengthy and it's costly, right?
And draining.
First of all, I want to just say thank you for showing vulnerability and sharing. I was
course.
definitely not expecting this. I haven't even got to pick the scab yet on you because I want to know where this woman empowerment stuff is. But this is more
But
important.
this is
to
the
me.
foundation of where everything came.
That's right. This is the foundation of transformation.
Right.
We don't start a transformation until we hit our lowest point sometimes. At least that's the way I see it, right? When you're on the high, you're not transforming. You're just enjoying and living life, right?
Right.
Maybe something happens that topples you, and that's what happened. It's right. I was living on my high, and I got toppled. And when I came down, I had to figure out that I couldn't keep doing the things that I was doing the way I was doing them to get back on my feet and back to the next level, because we have to continuously evolve. So, putting the pieces back together and being able to have the courage, right, to then pick up that momentum to move forward. And so, thank you, though, because again, I've heard, that system, man. Anyways,
The justice system is not just.
And it goes, but and to be fair to men out there though too, men go through situations.
Absolutely.
I've had some experiences in my life that I feel were unjust. I had to fight through them, and I think that's kind of in a way how maybe we cross paths. And I won't go into it because it's not important to me anymore. This is an interview about you. But I will say that I've been through things in my life that I felt were unjust.
Right.
And it never got to the point. I've never been married in my life. I do have children. I have 3 boys that I'm very proud of. Unfortunately, I wasn't given, the cards weren't dealt in my favor, but it is what it is.
Right.
And I've learned to move and go forward. But I learned along the way that it's transformed me to be a better man, a better human being.
Yes.
And that if I had the opportunity to do it all over again, would I in that area? Yes, I would do it differently. I don't want to go back, but I would definitely do it differently.
Right.
because I know that I could be I know that I would be an amazing father to my children.
Yes.
And again, given the right opportunity. Anyhow, so transformation begins, right? And then the healing process. So you start this healing or this transformation, really, and then along the way, side by side, there's a version of healing that starts to occur.
I do have to say, though, those 5 years only came to an end because that judge that you've been under jurisdiction was part of an undercover investigation, has been removed from family court.
Wow.
So that's the only way that I was able to break free finally. And that was 2019, right before the pandemic. So I thought, I'm ready to go, because this whole time I've been working on myself. I've been healing. I went to 12-step programs. I went through one-on-one therapy, group therapy. I was under a suicide watch program.
Jesus. Wow.
Because they were so scared of everything I went through. They're like, if you don't show up, we're going to send somebody to your home to look for you, to make sure you didn't do anything to yourself. It was to that point. So having been through all of that, right? And then I come out on the other side. After I've done so much healing, I felt like, God, you don't waste anything. So it's not that he wanted me to go through that. I made a choice. I chose the wrong person, right? But after that, I'm like, I'm a Christian, and Romans 8:28, I'm a living, breathing, walking testimony of Romans 8:28. And God says, I will work all things together for your good, or all things together for the good of those who love him and are called according to his purpose. I was like, God, you know I love you. I know I'm called for something. So what are you going to do with my story? And it was in that point, I was already having women's empowerment events. And then it was right in the pandemic where he was like, okay, that's cool. You're having women's empowerment events. But he was so clear to me. He said, bring my queens back. And I was like, queens back? Lord, I invite them all the time, to my events. And then he said, no, I want you to create a framework, because you've left no stone unturned. Like, I had this insatiable, unquenchable thirst for healing that it was unnatural.
Yeah, you were obsessed.
Obsessed with it. To the point that I've worked with therapists now, and like in their own healing. And they're like, Mia, we studied this. How do you know all of this?
Yeah, firsthand. Hello. Yeah.
Because I went through that, and
studying and going through it are two different things.
And because God gave me the wisdom to, now that's what I do. I have a brand called Queen Within. So my brand is Queen Within, and what I do is I help women master confidence, embody feminine power, and lead with divine strategies. So entrepreneurs, the women that are business professionals, creatives, all of that, we come together. But within that, yes, there's a healing. Yes, there's ascension, because now you have to work on your mind, right? Mindset mastery, emotional mastery, boundaries. And then also, this is where
physical too. I think physical
as well.
Yeah.
Right. And
body wise, right? You got to keep your
everything.
You got to keep your temple healthy.
That even your confidence. Confidence is like in your self-image and your self-esteem, all of those things. So there's different ascension, like there's, like I said, the healing journey, ascension journey, legacy for people that are trying to write their book, do their podcasts, speaking. I'm able to do storytelling with them and create frameworks, design their signature talks, all of that. And then with that, also a reinvention era. It's the woman that's like, she knows she's meant for more. Or sometimes they're divorced, they're starting over, right? Yeah. So that, and then, which is my brand, I go by the Soft Power Queen. So I also teach them, how do you lead with soft power? And this is where you and I were talking earlier, right? Where you're just like, we have our art stances on empowerment.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, I kind of threw a little jab at you, and I said, let's talk about women empowerment. What does that mean? And really, to me, it's I've heard that phrase be used over and over and over and over. Women empowerment, and I'm down for the women. Yet the person leading that movement is not a reflection of what she's teaching, right? It would be like I've written these books. Smoke and Mirrors is a book about my life. Boom, I left it out in the open. Decide, commit, execute. That's make a decision, commit, execute. Those are principles. Right. If I and assess, address, move on is I have to assess a situation, address it, and then move on. When I have somebody that reads my book and comes back to me and says, hey, you are not a reflection. Your outside is not a reflection of who you are on the inside. That woke me up.
Right.
I got hit by my own words. So when I hear this, and I don't preach that I'm ever a man empowerment guy, or I'm, hey, what I tell men and people, I'm going to tell you how it is, black and white. Now, if you get offended, that's not my intention. My intention is to share with you my thoughts on what I see and what I'm hearing. Right? When you hear somebody just talk negative, it's like, bro, why are you so negative? Like, change your perspective.
Right.
Switch it.
Right.
You complain about your outside. Well, fuck, go to the gym. Eat. Why are you eating that hamburger and drinking that soda like when you should be eating something healthy, right? Like, so the point being is that when I hear this, and you turn hey, it looks great, the product looks great, what you're doing is great, but then you turn around and you're full of hypocrisy. How can you tell someone to be faithful to their other partner when you're not?
Right.
I'm not pointing at you. I'm just saying, when you're not.
Right.
How can you tell someone to do well in their finances when you're not?
Or a dentist. You go to a dentist, right, and then their teeth are all messed up. Like,
you know what's crazy? It's crazy you just said that. I have a guy that's going to work on all my teeth. I'm getting all my teeth done because I've grinded them. And I'm looking at his mouth and I'm like, this guy's going to fix my teeth? I'm like, someone needs to put a mirror on him and fix his teeth, right? But he does great work.
Yeah.
He does amazing work. I mean, he's one of the like real badass. Then maybe there's, I don't know.
Right.
That was a great analogy. I mean, for me, it's always been the guy that, this was in my earlier years, a guy telling me how to make money. And I'm like, okay, I'll listen to you. Have you made $1 million? No, then how are you going to tell me how are you going to show me to make $1 million if you've never made one?
Right.
I remember I had a conversation with a guy who was very successful. He was making millions. And he tells me, one day we got into a conversation. He goes, Mauricio, he goes, I'm already making $500,000 a month just off of this. And I said, that's great, but I'm making $1 million a month doing what I'm doing. So let's catch up, and then we could talk about something, but I can understand that, but I'm already here and I want to be here.
Right.
So anyway, that's just, that's where I find this. Like when I hear the women empowerment, I'm all for it. Women's movement, all for it, for the right reasons. Hypocrisy, it eats up at me because, again, there's a story and about the woman that was the president of the Women Against Drunk Driving. They caught that woman like 3 times drunk driving.
Here's the thing about women.
I'm just giving examples. I just, again, I'm throwing it out there. But when I hear that, I want to ask, what does that mean?
Right.
What does that really mean?
Well, here's the thing, that it can mean whatever other people want. And you're right, they don't embody it. Or what are they really standing for? Yeah. So I will say this.
Sometimes it could be a money grab or something. I don't know.
Right, right. Because they decide, oh, wait, there's women that are hurting out there. Women need this. So then all of a sudden they're selling to them. What I will say is this. When I walked into this world of women's empowerment here in Silicon Valley, there was someone who right away was like, oh, let me coach you. Let me do this. Let me do that. And I wasn't in a position where financially I could even do it. I was still stuck in court and everything. That person knew my story, knew I didn't have the money. And this is why taps into what you're saying about women's empowerment. How much empowerment was it? How much empowering was she really trying to be when I just told you I don't have the money. I'm still stuck in court. I'm a single mother, full-time sole provider. And you're like, well, it's $2,500 for my program. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't have it.
Right.
But she's like, well,
find a way.
And find a way. And I'm like, and I made the mistake where I was like, well, I don't have any money until I do my taxes. When you do your taxes. So guess what? When my taxes, she came relentlessly after the money and promised me, help you write your grants, help you nonprofit, blah, 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 all these other things. Because the other things I was already doing, I was already speaking, I was already having women's empowerment events and all that. I paid the $2,500. Those $2,500 my daughter needed. Yeah. I needed to feed my daughter. Yeah. But I gave it to this person, didn't come through with what they said.
Wow.
And then at the end, when I confronted the person, had the nerve had the nerve to sit there and talk about all these other people that she was telling me, you need to work with this person. You should work with this, all people in her group. No. You need to, I was like, I can't work with this person. I can't, we don't align. There's no alignment. At the end, we leave the meeting. My name is on social media. I knew all these people started going on their texts, posting all these things. And then literally I was like, what happened? And again, we're talking about a leader, women's empowerment leader. Okay.
Yeah.
And I said, what happened? We just left. What happened with all these? Literally said, if you text me, if you call me again, I will call my attorney.
Out.
And yeah, so basically, and get a restraining order on you. What? A women's empowerment coach? But you know what I learned? Because everything's a lesson, right? I learned the coach I will never be. I would never come and make someone pay me for whatever, my programs are that. And I'm not even a coach.
As much as I want to ask, I'm not going to ask. I don't want to know because it's not important. I think that the lesson learned from all of that is the lesson learned.
Absolutely. And that's what I said. I take the lesson, what I will never be.
Yeah.
So one, I'm not a coach.
Yeah.
I'm a transformational speaker. I'm a transformational consultant. I'm a best-selling author. I'm the founder of Queen Within. And my name is a soft power queen.
Mic drop there.
Yes.
Wow.
Right.
I love it.
Because I don't stand for feminism.
Okay.
I think feminism was for me, it became very toxic because.
What does feminism mean in your? Could you
for me?
Yeah, for you, because you just said very toxin.
For me,
okay.
Because I took it on, and this is what I do now in my Queen Within program, and it's because what helped me realize is I was dating someone in 2019. This is after my healing. Okay, I was dating someone in 2019. And it was a great guy, like checked off all the boxes and everything, right? And in the middle of an argument one day, he's just like, damn, Mia, you're so beautiful, but you're so freaking hard to love. Why do you have to be so tough? And I was like, I was so offended, right? Because I'm like, wait a minute, you're talking, my survival skill, I'm alive today because of this person you see. And I realized at that point that that version of myself that had to be so tough during my years of survival were now affecting me in my connection with people, relationally, in business, and everything. Because I became so much of I had to be empowered. And I took empowerment to a toxic level to where I'm always competing. Like, a man's never going to take my voice again.
I get it. Yeah, you become, you're taking that empowerment and becoming almost masculine.
Absolutely.
I think, is that the right word? Would it be? Okay.
Absolutely. I became so much in my masculine that's when I realized, wait a minute, this whole empowerment thing, if it's not done in the right way, it's actually very toxic. And it creates division between men and women. We need men. Right. We need men. There's things that I could never do that you're going to be able to do. And there's beautiful things about me that, you know what, you could never do.
It was interesting. I just had this conversation probably not too long ago. I said, and I said it in Spanish. I said, lo que a mí me gusta es el cariño, right? And I'm not reading into it other than it's just, I can appreciate a woman being feminine and yet firm,
right,
and respected in the lane that they are in. Right. That's an attraction, right? It's a mental attraction,
right.
Every attraction doesn't have to mean that it's that there's a physical attraction, which there could be, right? But that mental stimulation,
right?
Why? Because it's not something that you commonly see or get exposed to, right? Right now, and even in the current state of things, the world is so crazy right now. So when you get that little taste of it, you're like, oh damn! Like it triggers. Now trigger in a positive way, not a trigger in a bad way. So it almost becomes like, oh damn, I want a little bit more, like, because you like it, right? It's like it's like kind of like the like button, right? When you get a like, you're like, that dopamine kicks in, right?
Absolutely.
So when I shared that, I just felt that, when I was I wanted to show a little vulnerability. I wanted to just be me, and then just say, and just have honest conversation, right?
Right.
So
and that's the beautiful thing that that's what I mean exactly. That we have not allowed that to happen anymore. Why? Because now women, it's like we try to compete so much with men, right? It's like, I need to be as good as you, if not even better.
Yeah.
And then even if not, it's like there's always this, I'm going to one up you. I'm going to one up you because I don't know why. Like that's what the feminine toxicity does, right?
That's crazy.
So that's why what I learned after that experience with that guy, like broke my heart, but it was my breakthrough where I realized, you know what, there's a different way of doing this. And that's when my work now with women, that I help them reconnect to their feminine essence, because there's a beauty with that. Because let me tell you, I can be feminine, I can be sweet, I can be kind, I can be graceful to people, but I'm firm, like you said. I'm very firm. And I can still be ambitious, and I can still do it with authenticity without being soft and being walked all over.
Oof. Powerful.
That's what women have to learn. It doesn't mean you have to be, competing with other women or be on top of a man, like being like, I'm above you, I don't need you. Like, no, we need men, right? So it's beautiful when
especially
you can actually
when we procreate, like,
well, that's
I'm just saying,
hey,
I gotta represent for us men, Hey, listen, I'm what I learned, and I just heard what you said. What I learned from my experience was that I realized that in that vulnerable state, I lost my focus. I am a man, and I am a man that wants to carry the weight, and I want to be the provider. I want to be the fixer. I want to be the guy that I want to see us win as a team.
right.
I'm not competing because there's no competition, especially when I know where
Collaboration.
Especially when I know what I've done and what I can do. But again, we can't fix people's problems. We can't fix their past, right? And some people can't let go of their past.
Right.
And that's what happens is that you get caught looking in that rearview mirror instead of looking ahead. And along the way, you missed out on a great opportunity, in my opinion, right?
Right.
And it is what it is, and just move on. Like again, I use my own book, assess, address, move on. I assessed the situation, I addressed it, and I moved on.
Right.
Did it break my heart? Absolutely.
Did it give you a breakthrough?
100 million %.
That's what I'm talking
Seriously. So yes, it gave me all of that, and it's gotten me to the point where when I think about that person, I'm like, I thank God that God put that person in my life. Why? Because it allowed me to go through that heartbreak, and it gave me the breakthrough. I mean, my team was crazy, and they were like, "We're about to lose you, Mauricio." Like, I'm like, because I was a hot mess.
But see, that's healing.
Yeah,
That's what's healing. I was just talking to someone yesterday, and I'll just say this. I told the person, you haven't healed. You know why? Because when you bring that up, the emotion, you feel your heart racing. You're bringing it up, like your tone, it's so fast. You're talking. You haven't healed yet.
Yeah.
But you feel
I feel it. I'm calm.
You feel it. You're healed.
I'm calm.
Yeah.
Man, I think, and I want to, I think you've answered the women empowerment portion that I wanted to kind of pick at you at. I think that what you shared earlier was a lot, I don't want to say more important. It was just as important. And again, I appreciate the fact that you shared what you shared. Because I think that there's a lot of people, women and men, that are going out there, that are out there going through a lot in life. So this conversation here can help both. Right. When I listen to what you went through, that's something that I would never want to do to a person. Right. And then maybe what I've said, maybe it's something that, again, it reciprocates, right? It goes back and forth. I think that these are the types of conversations that need to be had, and even in relationships, right? They're healthy relationships. I always feel that are based on honest communication, like transparency. And at the end of the day, honestly, if you're in a committed relationship, committed, right? Key word, right? And there's that, and there's been that conversation about commitment.
Right.
Then you stay within those boundaries,
Right.
And this is where it's interesting when I started to really understand the word of dating, right? I was like, oh, dating means you're non-committal or non-committed. We're okay, I get it. But we're having that conversation then. And the minute that there's that something else can potentially come in the way, no me importa, we have to have that conversation.
Right.
Because what we don't want to do is fall into a pattern of deceit or of something, because it's not going to work.
Right.
It's not going to work. And I trust me, I eat my own words when I say this, because I was, there was a point in my life where I was that man. And I don't ever want to be that man looking back. I want to be a different person as I'm looking forward, because there's a lot of great things that are happening in my life.
And that's what it's about. Best version, right? Always becoming the best version of yourself, always working to become. And I have to end with this. Everything I went through was worth it. I have the most amazing, beautiful daughter ever. And that was my gift. So when we talk about lessons learned, lessons, and God gives you gifts along the way. So
that's deep.
we're good.
Listen, if people want to get a hold of you or
Yes.
reach out or know more about you, where can they find you? Because again,
Yes, of
we can
course.
go here for hours and hours on this topic, and which I love, by the way.
Me too.
And we're gonna have to do a part 2. I know that we've been talking about a
Absolutely.
collaboration.
Yes.
I've
Those
shared.
my background is entertainment. So
Yeah, and
we're in our element right now.
we didn't even get to hit the entertainment part of this thing. I'd like
Yes. Mm-hmm.
to see how we can do some collaboration here. Obviously, I've offered my studio. I think that you may have a lot of great ideas. That again, this is for me. Mauricio Mejia Live is more of an outlet, a creative outlet for me. I want to enjoy myself. I want to do things. I want to share and have great conversations with great people. So let's definitely look at how we can work together.
Yes.
Now and in the future, and let's continue that message. And if whatever we can do here, whatever I can do to support
Absolutely.
in your journey, again, I'm all in. I'm
Thank
gonna
you.
have to have another therapy session here with you.
I'll send you the invoice. I'm
So,
just
but
kidding.
how can people get a hold
yes,
of you?
www.myqueenwithin.com, and they can look at everything, my scope of work within the last decade. And
Social
they can get
media?
a hold of me. My social media on Instagram is Mia Perez .official.
Okay.
Yeah, those are the best ways to get a hold of me. You can also email me, Mia Perez, ENT, like enter, Mia Perez, ENT @gmail.com.
All right. Well, good. Well, hey, thank you so much. I know we've been
Thank
talking
you.
about this for some time, and
Yes.
making the time to come out and sharing and being vulnerable with the audience out there. And,
Absolutely.
let's keep the conversation going.
Let's do it.
All right.
Yes.
All right, guys, we're wrapping it up. Mauricio Mejia Live. Thank you so much. Mia Perez, thank you again
Thank you.
for being here.
Like, comment, subscribe. Mauricio Mejia Live on YouTube.